Jai Hind and welcome back, my dear children. Today we'll be taking up the second poem, The Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Now children, before we go through the explanation of the poem, I just want to share something with you. Now it is believed, children, that the world would end. Some believe that the world would end due to global warming, and some say it would end up due to extreme freezing. Now children, tell me, what does ice symbolize? The ice symbolizes cold emotions, hatred. What does fire symbolize? The fire symbolizes violent desires. Now what does this violent desire refer to? Yes, why do we have this violent desires? We have the violent desires to have more and more, to achieve more and more power. We want to satisfy our limitless desire of acquiring everything in this world. We forget everything then. We just mad. We just get mad. We just get violent in the desire to satisfy our want. Now, what do actually some people think the world would end in? They think that it would end in ice. Ice will be acting as an agent, or the fire. Now children, tell me, can hatred destroy the world? Yes, it can. It can destroy the world. Hatred can shatter everything in the world. But on the other hand, the love can again infuse life in it. Love can give a new hope, a ray of positivity to strive life again. Now, let us learn the name of the poem and the poet by heart with the spellings. Now I'll start with the poet. Let us know something about the poet, Robert Frost. Robert Frost was a famous American poet. He was born in San Francisco on March 26, 1874. His father belonged to New England and his mother was a Scottish immigrant from Edinburgh. By 1920s, Frost was the most celebrated poet in America. His poetical works, A Boy's Will, which was published in 1913, The North of Boston, which was published in 1914, New Hampshire in 1923, A Farther Range in 1936, A Stipple Bush in 1947, and In the Clearing 1962, increased his fame and honor. The poem Dust of Snow was published in New Hampshire in 1923. This collection gave him the Pulitzer Prize. Children, Robert Frost was a modern poet. Now when we start a chapter, we learn the moral, we learn the message. What is the message of the poem Fire and Ice? The poem Fire and Ice by Robert Frost is a metaphor for human feelings of desires and hatred. Fire represents burning desires, while ice, on the other hand, depicts cold hatred. It tells us about how we humans will be the end of our own race. Understood, children? We will be the enemy of our own race. Now, what are the objectives of this poem? The poem revolves round the theme that the human emotions can be destructive when we lose our control over them at some point of our life. They can destroy our conscience and lead us to problems, conflicts, and grudges. Fire represents desire and ice represents hate. Now, here is the poem by Robert Frost, Fire and Ice. In class, I ask you to read the poem silently, but here you can hear the poem silently. Close your eyes and just hear. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Now let us continue with the summary of the poem. The poet is very much sure, children, of the destruction of humanity on some day. He is talking about the two different beliefs regarding the end of this world. These are on the basis of the sayings of the people. The poet says that he is in favor of those people who say this world will end in fire. This is because he has seen the effect and result of uncontrolled and unending desires over the life of human beings. He finds that human evil desires are similar to the fire in its nature. So this fire may become a big reason to destroy the mankind and this world too. On the other hand, the second belief in this regard says that the ice is also sufficient for destroying this world. Here the poet compares the nature of ice with hatred feelings of humans with the other humans. As ice can make the body numb with its prolonged contact, similarly hatred can also give the numbness to our mind and thoughts, and hence it can make us insensitive and cruel. Such cruelty towards humanity will be more responsible for the destruction of the world compared to the desire. The speaker brings us all into the middle of the argument between two different categories of people. One who thinks that the world will come to a fiery end, and other who thinks the world would freeze, resulting to the end. Poet is possibly talking about the literal end of the world, but he is also talking about the power that human beings have to destroy each other. Now children, the poet experiences the romantic desire that he has taught the passion for emotions like love and lust. These will probably have the power to turn the earth into a big fireball. But he has also experienced the other extreme side. This is about the colder emotions like hate, which have great destructive power. It is a common fact that love gets all the publicity, whereas hate is the silent killer. It may not have the same effect as the fireball ending, but it will do the trick. Now, coming to the conclusion, the poem is revolving round the theme that human emotions are destructive and has two possible forms. Did you understand, children? Now we will be discussing the theme of the poem. The poem is very short. For the poet, fire means the burning desire for the material things, and ice means the coldness that emerges in the humans because of the desires and materialistic life. This we have already discussed when we started the video. He finally concludes that both of these weapons are equally dangerous and will lead the world towards the destruction. Now, the very important part, the literary devices. The literary devices, once you get your books, I would request you to write it with a pencil in your books beside the lines of the paraphrase of the poem, so that during examination you don't waste time opening your notebooks and all. You just can flip whenever you are flipping the pages of your textbooks. You will learn the literary devices also, and please do learn it. It's very important, as 1 marks questions are always there, mostly from the extract based questions. 1 marks mostly you will get for your literary devices. So please, children, write it in your textbooks and learn it. The writers and poets, let us know why literary devices. Writers and poets use literary devices to bring uniqueness and depth in the simple texts. They also allow multiple interpretation of the text. Robert Frost has also used some literary devices in the poem. The analysis of some of the literary devices used in this poem are given below. It's written it will be are given below. Assonance, alliteration, imaginary, symbolism, anaphora, personification, enjambment, rhyme scheme. Now assonance. We'll start with assonance. Assonance, what is assonance? Last day I had explained it. Assonance is the repetition of the vowel sounds. What are the vowels? A, E, I, O, U. Sounds in the same line, such as the long sound of O in I hold with those who favor life. See, I hold, O is there, with those, O is there, who, O is there, favor, O is there, fire, isn't it? So, the repetition of the vowel sound in the same line, such as the long sound of O in this line. This is assonance, children. Am I clear to you? Alliteration. What is alliteration? This also we have done in our last poem. Is the repetition of the consonant sound. What are consonants? The letters apart from the vowels, that is A, E, I, O, U. The rest of the letters are all consonants. Sounds in the same line, such as the sound of F. Alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sounds in the same line, such as the sound of F in I hold with those who favor fire. Fur, favor fur, fire fur. Understood? Repetition of F, fire. Favor fire, fur is alliteration. Now imagery is used to make readers perceive things involving their five senses. You imagine it using your imagination. We tell it, using your senses, five senses. For example, some say the world will end in fire. This you are imagining. You're just giving a imagining statement, isn't it? That some say the world would end up in fire. Some say it would end up in ice. And to say that for destruction, ice is also great. So this is the imaginary here. Please underline the lines when you get your textbooks. Please, please, please. Now symbolism. Symbolism is a use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving the symbolic meanings different from their literal meanings. Fire. Fire means what? Aag. But fire is the symbol of desire here, isn't it? It is used as a symbol. I had at starting of the video I had discussed this. And ice, baraf, symbolizes hatred. Here it is used as a symbol, hatred. Similarly, green and gold are the symbol of beauty and happiness, isn't it? So these are the symbolism. Now anaphora. It refers to the repetition of a word or expression in the first part of some verses. For example, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So what's the repetition here? Some say, isn't it? Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. What is the repetition here? Some say. So this is the anaphora here. Now the personification. This is very important. You will find this device being used by the poets in many of their poems. Personification. I think this personification, Robert Frost, he enjoys using this personification. In many of his poems, I have seen him using personification. Personification is to give human qualities to inanimate objects in this poem. Inanimate means non-humans, alright. In this poem, fire and ice are capable of destruction. So they are having the human qualities, isn't it? Because humans are only capable of destroying anything. So when this quality is put in fire and ice, that is a personification. Therefore, the poet personifies fire and ice by giving them a mind which is capable of destroying almost anything. The next is enjambment. Enjambment also we have done in the last poem. It is defined as the thought or a clause that does not come to an end at the line break. Rather, it moves over to the next line. For example, from what I have tasted of desire, no punctuation mark, I hold with those who favor fire. Understood? See, the thought, the expression is transferred to the next line and there is no punctuation break in between. This is enjambment. Now the rhyme scheme. Now remember how I taught you to detect the rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme followed in the entire poem is A, B, A. You have to write this in your block letters, in your capital letters. A, B, A, B, C, B, C, B. Now, can you tell me how did I detect it? I just went to the last word of the sentence, ice, and then I saw with the next rhythmic word for the next sentence. In that way, we have allotted the A, B alphabets, and that the way we have decided the rhyme scheme. Alright, I think rhyme scheme you know because the last class very well I have discussed. Okay, now we come to the word meaning session. This is very important for Tulika ma'am, you know, more than your question answers, because I always go after you. Please learn to speak English. Please learn to write good write-ups in English. And for this word meanings, you learn so many words with their meanings. And you with the, why do I ask you to learn the meanings of the words? Because you would learn the usages also. Here, desire means a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. Perish means die. Destruction, action or process of causing so much of damage to something. Suffice means be sufficient. So that's the end, and we'll end up the class today. I'll be giving sharing the PDF where I'll be giving you the extra questions. The extra questions you will be going through. I'll give you some time for that. And the extra questions you should not lose it anywhere, because you would include it in your A notebooks as a question bank. Children, another thing, you would do the exercises in your NCERT book. How to do it? You will maintain the index, write homework assignment, do the exercises as the questions are given in your book, in your NCERT book. And how to start the chapter, you will make the cover page, then the moral, and then the question answers. And after the question answers, you will write only the extra questions, not the answers. Answers you may keep safe with you, because that would help you at the end of the session while we will be giving the final revision before your board exams. All the best, children. Be safe. Goodbye.